Hello there. I'm in Alloa, and today we're going to walk between here and Clackmannan, between the two towers in fact, Alloa Tower and Clackmannan Tower. It's I suppose it sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings, the walk of the two towers. I came on the train from Stirling, and the Stirling railway lines recently, well back in 2008, was reopened. Hello there, hi. It was closed in 1968, as I say, it reopened in 2008, and even if there was nothing to see in Alloa, it's worth coming here just for that train journey. You've got views of the Wallace Monument, views towards the Ochil Hills, and it's just magnificent. When they first created this wagonway, as I say, around the 1760s, it was very much an experimental thing. I mean, it was practical, you know, it carried coal and wagons, and it was horses that pulled the wagons along the tracks, but they were unsure initially what sort of tracks to use, so they tried a number of things to see how long they might last before they wore out. And I think initially they tried Scotch fir wood, then beech and Prussian fir, then they moved on to a strip on top of cast iron. But again, you know, there was a limited lifespan with these things, and I think they moved on to a more malleable iron. And in many ways, the trials and tribulations that took place on mining wagonways like this very much formed a solid foundation for the steam railways that came later. Well, this is roughly where the docks and the harbour at Alloa used to be, just over there in fact. Seems to be houses now, there's nothing left of the docks and harbour. But they've created this very small, and there's an emphasis on the word very, it's not, I don't think you could call it a walkway because it doesn't go anywhere. But you can stand here for a while and get pretty wonderful views over the River Forth. You can see all the way to Stirling. Some mountains up way away. I can even see the Wallace Monument, and just behind me there's the Alloa Glassworks, which has been on the go for a long time, and thankfully still on the go. There's a certain smell in the air when you're in this area of the town, and I imagine it is the glassworks. It's a smell of heavy industry. You wouldn't think glass would smell, but I dare say the process in creating it probably creates some kind of not a bad smell, just it's got kind of a hot smell. If hot things can smell, and I'm sure they can. But Alloa's probably famous for its beer. I think at one time the town had about 8 breweries. Most of those have gone, and there is one brewery left. It's not one of the old ones. Williams Brothers. It's a fairly recent brewery on the go. But what we'll do is we'll go back into the town and have a look at the remnants of 2 of the breweries, and it will just be a quick look. Maclay's Thistle Brewery and George Younger's Meadow Brewery. Both of these buildings are still standing, but as I say, they're unfortunately no longer breweries.
Here we have Maclay's Old Thistle Brewery, closed in 1999. It's now a public house where they serve beer made, well, somewhere. Inside they have a few brewery-related items, like these bottle labels used by George Younger, who never brewed here, although he did have the nearby Candleriggs Brewery, now a car park. This is George Younger's Meadow Brewery, closed in 1877 to become offices for the firm. You can see other brewery artefacts in the Spear Centre, just off Primrose Street. It's a small display that's packed with bottles and cans and other goodies. Remember George Younger's Sweetheart Stout? In addition to glass making and brewing, Alloa is also well known for its wool industry. And while some mill buildings survive, the industry itself is now dead. Tourism is therefore now very important to the town, and Alloa Tower is very much at the heart of that modern industry.
Well, this is Alloa Tower. Said to be one of the largest tower houses in Scotland, probably built in the 15th century, if not earlier. Walls 11 foot thick and all that sort of thing. Fascinating structure. It's in the hands of the National Trust for Scotland just now, and unfortunately it's closed in winter, so it's closed just now. I can't let you see inside, but it is worth a look. But even when it's shut, it's interesting to have a look at the outside of the structure, because I'm inclined to think that if you look at old stone for long enough, it starts to talk to you. And you'll see old roof lines and various indications that there were other structures attached to it. Any number of structures, in fact. When these have all gone and all that's left is the tower. It has been in the hands for centuries, in the hands of the Erskine family and the Earls of Mar, a very important family in Scottish history. Some of the Earls of Mar have been guardians to Scotland's royalty, like James IV, James V, and even Mary Queen of Scots, looking after them in their early years and being loyal friends when they were older. The 6th Earl of Mar, John Erskine, was a leader in the Jacobite uprising of 1715 and raised the Stuart standard or banner at the Battle of Sheriffmuir. So make no mistake that this is a very important family in Scottish history, and what you see in front of you here is a very important structure, Alloa Tower. But we're going to leave Alloa now and head towards Clackmannan and its tower. As I perhaps said earlier on, you could call this the walk between the two towers, which sounds a wee bit Lords of the Rings-ish. But it's going to be nice to get out into the countryside. It's only about 3 miles or so. Let's go.
Leaving Alloa Tower, the walk takes us through what used to be Alloa Park and Bowhouse Farm, before entering the RSPB Devon wetlands. We cross the Black Devon River with the Ochil Hills on our left and get ever closer to our final destination. Cue the Devon wetlands.
Well, this is the Market Cross in Clackmannan. You've got the old Market Cross there, the bell tower of the old toll booth, and a big boulder. The big boulder is probably one of Clackmannan's major tourist attractions. I mean, it's actually two big boulders. The main big boulder's on top of the other big boulder, which is just kind of holding it up. It's apparently called the Stone of Clackmannan, and its past has got all sorts of myths and stories to do with it. Some to do with Celtic sea gods and all that kind of carry on. It is thought that Robert the Bruce, when he passed this way, left his glove on top of the stone. Now at that time obviously the stone was at ground level. Either that or Robert the Bruce was quite tall, because I couldn't reach up there. But anyway, he left his glove and he sent his squire back to get it. And his squire said something along the lines of, "While I'm away, you should just hang about here and look about you," or something like that. So in one fell swoop, Robert the Bruce gave name to Clackmannan, because Clack apparently means stone and Mannan means glove, in that kind of strange language that Robert the Bruce must have talked. And he also gave name to the shire, Clackmannan Shire, the shire's motto, which is "Look about you," which has got to be one of the strangest mottos I've ever heard. Anyway, we'll carry on up the high street and we'll have a look at Clackmannan Tower. We'll see you up there. Well, this is Clackmannan Tower. It's not generally open to the public in the same way that the tower at Alloa is, but it's worth coming up here just to have a look at the external stonework and to soak up the magnificent views in the area. You can see right across the River Fore towards Stirling, and just for miles, tens of miles in fact. It's said that the poet Robert Burns was knighted here in 1787. Some sort of pretend ceremony, I dare say. But he was knighted using King Robert the Bruce's sword, or Robert the Bruce's sword. I'm just not sure if it was King Robert the Bruce's sword or some later Bruce. If you just come round to the other side of the tower and pass through a wooden gate, you'll come to this viewpoint, and the views from here are just stunning. It would be worth coming to Clackmannan for this alone, never mind that big boulder. You can see for miles. You've got the Ochil Hills just over there. You've got the pointy bit of Demite at the end of the Ochil Hills. And way beyond that you've got snow-capped mountains. I suspect that may be Ben Ledi at Callander. You can also see Stirling and its castle. And beyond that you've got what is quite clearly a very snowy Ben Lomond. And we're looking down on the town of Alloa, which is where we've come from. It's just beautiful. We can also see, I don't think you can see it just now because I think it's hiding behind that tree there, but you can also see the Wallace Monument, which is just outside Stirling. You can see everything. Anyway, I'm Eddie Burns. That was Alloa and Clackmannan, and the two towers walk between the two. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again.